Hello, thank you for watching. My name is Juglen from healthylife.nl, and next to me we have the great David Wolfe.
Thank you.
It's really great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
In Holland. And I saw your new book in Dutch, Superfoods.
Very happy with the way that this book came out. The Superfoods book, what I like about it is the people who actually translated it,
Yes.
they're really into the superfoods, into it. You were deep. It was amazing. It was actually the right people to translate it.
Yes, I know them.
Yeah.
They're really great. They're real health lovers.
Yes, exactly. They're really into health, and there was just a number of people who were involved in the translation who could translate the kind of energy that I wanted to have put across, and
they have the same mindset.
Same mindset. I think that's one of the best translations of any of my books ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you think that it's really necessary to eat superfoods when you are on an organic diet?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. That's why I got into superfoods. Basically, it's if you're on an organic diet,
yes,
and you've been doing the work that I've been doing. So that's how I lived for years. I actually was a raw foodist. I am a raw foodist still, but I was a raw foodist. Didn't take any supplements, no superfoods, no herbs, just food. And over a number of years, I started seeing a lot of problems that people had with those kind of diets, and a lot of things that were going on with me, like mineral deficiency problems. So then I started realizing that the mineral deficiency talk that you hear about with food, it's a big problem with our food in general, all food, is real.
Yes, but also organic food is nutrient deficient?
Yes, right, it's better than conventional food.
Yes.
But yes, what you're saying is the shocking news. Yeah, that's true.
Really?
Yep. Wild food isn't.
Yes, wild food is
wild
the best.
food isn't. Wild food's the best. But
it's hard to get.
It's hard to get. I mean, this environment, it's hard to get wild food. In my house, it's easy. I walk out in the front yard, I pick my weeds, I make a salad, I'm good.
You live in?
I live in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, in eastern Canada,
nature.
north of Toronto.
It's really, really great for you.
Oh, it's a forest. It's a wild forest. My wish and hope for everybody is that they can have access to a wild forest.
Yeah, it's hard here in Holland, but
a lot of people here. There's a lot of people in Holland.
Yes. Hey, and is it necessary to take supplements?
Well, it depends on the situation, and it depends on the person. Supplements exist for a reason. So do superfoods. So does all food.
Yes.
It has a role. Every food, even the chemicalized food. The chemicalized food is here because we gave away our responsibility. So now we're going to get taught a lesson.
Yes.
Right? So we eat the chemical food, and all of a sudden we go, what's going on? That's why it's here. It's helping us to actually evolve. If you look at it from that perspective, does that make sense? So the supplements are also here for a reason, and there's been a lot of research on supplements over the years, from enzyme supplements to B vitamins, vitamin C, D, and they work. They work. Okay. I like food better because I know that food is more complete. I mentioned at the seminar that we did that B vitamins, I know 4 B vitamins that don't even have a name. They're not in any product out there except one product, And so there's stuff being discovered all the time. But food already has it all. So that's why I like superfoods instead of supplements, because it's complete. But supplements do work. That's for sure, so especially in high dosages.
And when you have cancer, which supplements do you advise?
Vitamin C, for sure.
Vitamin C?
Yeah, vitamin C. Definitely, vitamin C, number one. In high dosages.
Because it provides oxygen?
Well, vitamin C is antiviral, anti-cancer by definition, actually. Yes. So if you can get a significant amount of vitamin C regularly into your blood, so instead of taking a huge dose in the morning, what you do is you take 4 big doses throughout the day.
Okay.
Right, and that's what I've learned from cancer researchers who use vitamin C as part of their cancer approach, how you fight cancer. But then I would say vitamin D is also very important. D is in David.
Yes.
It's important for strength, it's important for your immune system. There's actually nothing in all of the entire science of nutrition that turns on more genes that affect healing than vitamin D. Okay. Vitamin D is number one.
We have a lack of sunshine here in Holland. And I think that's a reason to take supplements like vitamin D in the winter.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Now, if you lived in Hawaii, you don't need that.
Yes.
But see, here it's a good idea, and that's why you can't ever make a statement like all supplements are bad or are good. It's totally context related. It's related to the person's personal situation, what they are dealing with.
Yes.
It's related to their age. I mean, there's so many factors. So everything exists for a reason. And we're just trying to figure out, okay, now that we've got this person in front of me and they've got this situation going on, what's the best advice that I can give to them? And sometimes that's going to be certain supplements on top of the food that they're doing. It's just a smart idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't you think people will become dependent on the superfoods?
Well, we're on, that's a big question. We're on life support as it is.
Yeah, but in times of war, some people survived on one potato a day.
Yeah.
So their body can survive.
Yeah, can survive.
With all those superfoods, maybe become dependent to such high amounts of nutrition.
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. But it's like anything. If you can live rich, then do it. If you can be nourished, be nourished. Being malnourished, in my opinion, doesn't bring out the highest human qualities.
Okay.
That's just what my observation is. If you talk to people who've been through the war about that, they'll also agree that being malnourished does not bring out the highest in human quality. Being nourished, richly nourished, with superfoods or your own local wild foods or the food you grow yourself, that brings out a higher level of human emotion and feeling and art and imagination.
It will change your mind and the way of thinking.
Your thoughts. So the idea there is, if you can have it, have it. You may not have it every day. You may not ever be able to have it ever again. It's possible the world could crumble and that's the end of everything. But at least you've had that moment of glory. And so that's kind of the idea of superfoods. Here's another idea. I really recommend your local superfoods. Understanding what that is, what that means.
So it's good to search for local superfoods.
Yeah, of course, you've got to know what they are.
Yes.
Wherever you live.
And do you think that's important to vary the superfoods you're taking?
What do you mean vary them? To change them up?
Yes. Is it good to take every day the same superfoods?
No. It's never a natural thing to actually take the same thing every day. That's not really natural. It's not really possible, actually. We're so far into shipping and moving stuff around that we don't really eat with the seasons anymore.
Yes.
But if you eat with the seasons, you cannot eat the same things every day. So it's important to know that actually over time you want to vary things up. Because we live in a way we live artificially. So we kind of have to do it. What used to be instinct, now we have to do it consciously.
I agree.
Yeah.
What's your top 3 superfoods?
It changes. I mean, right now I'm really back on the maca again because it's cold, so I can I can actually take maca.
Nice.
And I'm really into goji berries again.
Goji berries again.
Yeah. And cacao.
Cacao chocolate, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I had some great cacao this morning. This woman actually brought me this cacao that she had dried herself and that she had put it through 2 months of traveling and to give me this bag.
And when did you do that?
This was I just saw her, this was back about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
But she had done this in the summer and then she had brought it to me. So
high quality.
There's a lot of love in it.
Oh,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you are a real lover of chocolate, but how much do you eat daily yourself?
Well, see, I eat raw chocolate, and raw chocolate is very, very potent. See, when you cook the chocolate and all the stuff's been stripped out of it, and you basically get to chemical chocolate, which is Darth Vader chocolate, which is where most of us are at with our understanding of what chocolate is and what we understand chocolate to be in front of us in a store. That kind of chocolate is very weak.
Because when I take chocolate out of the supermarket, I'm getting mood swings, headache. It's not good for me. So you say raw is really the best?
It's the best. But you don't need that much of it. It's very strong because it's not been cooked down.
Yes.
So it's potent. So for example, I maybe ate 4 or 5 cacao beans this morning, maybe, and I'm feeling it.
Oh, okay.
And so, that's good enough for me for a while, maybe all day.
And do you consider supermarket cacao as poison?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean by supermarket cacao? I'm not sure what you mean.
Now, when I buy cacao in the supermarket, it's...
Can you buy cacao in the supermarkets here?
Yes, of
in
course.
a health food store, like a Nature Winkle?
No, you can buy chocolate or cacao everywhere.
Okay.
But do you think that chocolate in the supermarket is it?
Oh, you're talking about chocolate, not
yes.
cacao beans.
No, now I'm talking about chocolate.
Okay, chocolate. Yeah. Oh, I mean, most of what's out there is like.
It's poison.
It's basically poison.
Poison.
Yeah.
So it's not good to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you at least have to eat organic.
Organic
right.
chocolate and in raw form is better.
Yeah, so it has to be at least organic, and then raw form is better.
Okay.
So, but the conventional chocolate business, I don't even.
It's really unhealthy.
It's not healthy.
Okay.
It's like candy.
Okay. Hey, and do you consider raw milk as a superfood?
Oh, all animal products are really superfoods because they're so concentrated.
Yes. High dense, huh?
What's that?
High dense.
It's high density. Yeah, exactly. But see, then there comes the other side of it, which is then you got to deal with the livestock and the animals, and if you want to be like, for example, killing every day, then you're going to be in killing.
Yes.
And so I'm a vegetarian because I think it's time that we get past this whole killing business. I mean, that's just me. You know, that's what I feel, and for me, I don't want my hand in it. I have friends who are cattle ranchers. You know, they're in that business. That's what they do. They're great people, and they're great environmentalists too. So just because you're a cattle rancher doesn't mean you're not an environmentalist. And I love those people. They're amazing people, and they're amazing farmers. But for me personally, I'm not going to have blood on my hands.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, with raw milk, for example, I would never recommend drinking straight raw milk ever.
But there's no killing involved.
I know. I would only clabber the milk, though. That's the point I'm getting to. I would never drink straight raw milk because there's too many viruses in it.
Oh, yes?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot of...
It's not safe.
Not to the... Like, I would say that we go the traditional way that it was done, which is you clabber it, which means you ferment it. You take you take your starter probiotics,
yogurt or things like that.
Yeah, and you culture it. Then the culture kills off everything.
I understand.
And then it's safer to drink. And then plus you're getting all the friendly bacteria coming in. And that's really how humans traditionally have always dealt with milk. Always it's been like that.
Oh.
They either culture it so that they have their own friendly organism cultures in there, or they'll turn into butter, and the butter fat kills off all the organisms, or they'll turn it into cheese, and cheese kills off all the other organisms.
Do you eat cheese or butter?
No, I'm not a dairy eater.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But I'm not against it. I think it's great for people who want to have that energy.
Yes. And who need it.
And but don't want to be involved in killing too.
Yes.
Right? So it's a great solution for vegetarianism that has come from many, many civilizations throughout history, but is probably most well understood through the Vedic history. You know, the history of the Brahmins and 5,000 years of vegetarianism and what they learned, and they use raw dairy, and that's important. It's important to understand that picture and how that works to me.
And do you know Weston Price?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
What do you think about the Weston Price diet?
Well, it has the exact problems that we're dealing with right now, just in a more pure form. I think Weston Price is amazing, and I think his research is amazing, and it's very important information. But it's like what Michael Pollan said in his Omnivore's Dilemma. Eat little, mostly plants. So what I find with Weston Price people is that they have some great information, but it's too much of a focus on animal food. You don't need that much. I mean, if you wanted to get your Wolzen factor or your Activator X or your whatever it is that they're into, great, get that, do that. But when it's all about that, and there's no focus on plants, then we run into the same replicated danger that got us into this situation in the first place. For example, if you hear Sally Fallon talk, she's wrote Nourishing Traditions, very good book, and bringing back a lot of cool ideas and culinary traditions. But she admits that, the more animal food you eat, the more is your risk of cancer. Mm-hmm. Basically, the higher your risk of a number of different conditions, arthritis, for example. And the reason why that is extremism. That's what I've seen this in the nutrition field. There's a lot of extremism in the nutrition field. Yeah. It's either got to be all this or all that. It's very extreme. And I didn't really notice that. I mean, I was innocent when I got into the nutrition field. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how neurologically extreme the human race is. We'll flip all the way to that, then we'll go all the way to this. So the Weston Price kind of, the way that they bring their message out is not, it's not appropriate. It's not balanced. It needs to be both animal and plant-based diet, but mostly plants if we're going to move ourselves forward based on the science. I think they bring great science to the table, but it's too much focus on animal food. You have to have that focus on plant food because we're mostly a plant eater. I don't care what anybody says about the human whatever. If you look at the data and you look at the research and you look at how people feel better, yes. We're mostly a plant eater. It doesn't mean we're entirely a plant eater, but mostly, and maybe 80%. That's important 80%. Information. Yeah, 80%. Okay. Yeah. Now, not everybody can do that. People have broken down digestion. They can't eat kale. They can't eat the fiber vegetables.
They have to cook it for a long time.
Yeah, or maybe they can do it in another form. But if we really were honest, that's kind of where we're at. Mm-hmm. And we are getting more honest actually, because Weston Price Foundation they've made some great strides, but they've also realized that there are faults in what they do. Then the vegetarians have made great strides, and vegans and raw foodists, but they also are now coming to a conclusion like, okay, there's great faults in what we do on this side. So now we need to come together and figure out what's rational.
That's really nice.
How about that?
It's nice to hear that from you, because you're a vegetarian and you can be open-minded. So
it's what's rational too.
Really
See,
nice.
Most people are actually in the nutrition field aren't rational. I've found that out. It's crazy. Yeah, it's very emotional. I get it. I understand that. I get why people are so emotional about killing a cow. I mean, that's why I don't kill cows. It's too emotionally intense for me. It's too disturbing.
Yes.
But it's not disturbing to everybody. It's not. It's, some people that's their deal. They want to do that. So, that's okay.
Some people are unaware. They just buy the meat in the supermarket and they are not aware of the killing.
Yeah, that's right. That's the other side.
Maybe that's better for the business, because if they knew what they are doing, they would immediately
stop.
Yes, I think so. I have lots of questions, so we have to move on.
Power through.
Yes, is it safe to eat unlimited amounts of coconut oil?
Unlimited amounts?
Yeah, or lots, or is it better to?
It really depends on the person. Some people can't digest coconut oil. I've seen that. Some people can digest only limited amounts of coconut oil.
Yes.
Some people can do a tablespoon of coconut oil every 2 hours and use it in a panchakarma Ayurvedic strategy instead of ghee. That I've seen that works, but it's very particular to the person. Coconut oil is generally considered easy to digest as an oil, but that is not true of everybody. I've found that out. I guess
is different.
Everybody's different. I guess it's time to bring this point in, which is no matter what the food is that you name, it falls into a percentage in a bell curve. No matter what the diet is that you lay out, it falls into a percentage in bell curve. That's just the way the human race is. Some people are going to be on the extremes and they're going to be left out.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you see the fanatics, like when you get into dietary fanatics, what you find out is they believe that their little fringe on their corner of the bell curve is everybody.
Yes.
That's dietary fanaticism. And you'll also see another interesting thing going on there, and that is anybody who doesn't fit where they are, something's wrong with them. That's the other side of the fanaticism. So then that starts making people wrong.
But they are only on a different path, a different stage, maybe.
Yeah, it's
with another mindset on that moment, maybe.
What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean.
That they are on a different stage, so it could fit them, the vegetarian part or the meat part or the extreme. Maybe it's good for them, but not for other people.
Yeah. Well, that's for sure. But the fanaticism comes when it's like I'm right and everybody else is wrong. It's part of like a narcissistic personality disorder. There's a lot of that in the food world. You see that. It's like I was also unaware of that.
Yes.
So there's a lot of food fanatics.
Everybody thinks they are right. Everybody else is wrong.
Yeah. And it's not scientific and it's not where we're going. But it's for new people to deal with that minefield.
Yes.
To come, because it took me a long time to actually realize all this. It's like it's a minefield out there. I was like, oh, whoa, these people, this isn't scientific.
Yeah.
These people are crazy. They're like fanatics. It's hard to come to that realization, especially if you're new. Let's say you're.
It's very hard to find your way. Everybody's telling something different. What do you have to believe?
And you're 17 years old, and you're very idealistic, and you want to be a vegan, or you want to be a farmer, or you want to go back to cattle ranching, or whatever. And then you've got this person yelling at you. That person says you're wrong. This person says they're right.
If I should believe every advice, I can't eat nothing.
Right, yeah, you're better off than nothing.
Everything is poison instead.
Yeah, so we're trying to make sense of that. Yes. And the way that we do that is this understanding that it's quantum physics.
Yes.
Everything is in a probability curve. Everything is a percentage, right? If you think somebody jumps off a 10-story building, they're going to die. But if you start looking up people who jumped off 10-story buildings, you find out, okay, 95% of them died, but 5% of them lived.
Yes.
Right? It's how could they have lived?
Yeah.
But they did. So, that's the curve. And that's how I like to educate people now. So we can help people to navigate through this unbelievably complex minefield of fanatics, scientists, researchers, dietitians, and doctors. You've got to have that understanding, everything's in a curve.
But how can you find your own way? Follow your heart or your intuition?
Well, you have to experiment and follow your heart. You have to experiment. You actually have to eat the food and you have to find out how you feel. That's the great thing that we have in front of us, that we can actually experiment and find out what's right for us.
Yes.
And over the years, I found out, for example, that raw food is great. It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
But to put everybody on a totally raw food diet, that's fanatical.
Okay.
It's not real. It's not actually what would work for everybody. But it's a great thing for people to know about raw food, and because it's connected to vitality. And to have that understanding. And even if people are on a really good run and they're really going, go 3 days raw foods, power through a weekend, stay in that same high vibration. Yeah.
But maybe it's good to go on a raw food diet for a period, for only a month. Or
it's great. It's excellent. But I'd say that's true of all diets.
They say you can cure diabetes with a raw.
With raw diet. And let's say you have diabetes and you cure it with a raw diet, then the raw diet's right for you.
Yeah.
Then you found out, right?
Yeah, but
you learn.
Maybe after 1 month, it's good for you to go back and eat some meat from time to time.
Yeah, and feel out what's appropriate for you, because you might find out that there's a guy alive right now. He's 111 years old.
Yes.
He eats meat once a year.
Once a year.
Once a year.
But your body is telling what's good for you. When you're sick, your body says you need eggs or this or that.
He's 111. I'm sure his body knows what's good for him. You don't make it to 111 unless you are listening to your body and you're following what your body is telling you to do. And so the extremists and the fanatics are like, he eats meat once a year, that's terrible, or the other side is like, he's not eating enough meat, it's not, it's fanaticism. It doesn't have anything to do with what's real. And so we're in that stage right now, we're just coming out of that stage, actually culturally in the Western world, of moving through all of that kind of, it's like religious fighting or something, and now we're stepping into a higher level.
Yes, that's more religion indeed, what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you love juicing fruit and vegetables, but is that blood sugar safe?
Is what safe?
Blood sugar safe?
Blood sugar safe.
Yes.
Well, that also depends on the person. This is why we have a green juice revolution in America and Canada. It's green juice.
Yes.
Now, what's that? Well, it's vegetable juice with no sugar.
Okay.
So it's, for example, it'd be like celery, cucumber, lemon. So that way it's safe.
Water and nutrients and almost no sugar.
That's right, exactly. It's basically what Ann Wigmore was on about, which is a really great way to cleanse yourself, which is you don't really have much protein, you don't have any fat, you don't have any sugar, you don't have any of that, it's just all green food. That's basically the Ann Wigmore diet. You don't have any protein really, you don't really have any fat, you don't have any sugar. So basically it allows everything to come down into like a cleanup crew. And that's a very, very cool system for healing, I think. When you let your blood sugar go down, when you get off the fat, you get off the protein, and you just sit there. And a great way to do that while still dealing with like, okay, I'm hungry or I want to drink something or something, is green vegetable juice.
Okay, so you advise avoid a little bit the sugar-rich fruits. Avoid the
yes, right, exactly. Avoid the sugar-rich fruits. Yes, exactly. Because that's going to spike your blood sugar up, and then your body can't get into that deep level of healing. When your blood sugar is allowed to tank completely out, so you're not bringing it back up with food, and it's able to bottom out and stay down, and then build up again through glycogen, then you're able to burn off the impurities in your body. And so that's a whole thing about raw food, actually. Where raw food fits into the whole thing of all these diets and everything else is for cleansing.
Okay. And what is the top 3 foods we need to avoid these days?
Number 1 is wheat.
Wheat?
Okay. Number 2 is dairy.
Yes.
And that mostly has to do, it doesn't necessarily have to do with like, somebody's homegrown cheese or somebody's cow, but it has to do with the mega industry of dairy and dairy products, which are, it's very, very...
Pasteurization.
Yeah, it's very, very bizarre. I mean, basically you can have one gallon of milk that you buy, and it has, it's 4 liters, and it has the milk of several dozen different cows in it.
Yeah, it's not...
That's disgusting.
It's not natural.
It's not natural.
Yes,
it's not natural. So I would say that. And then the third category is just any kind of refined sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Okay. Refined sugar.
Yeah, any kind of, even brown sugar, any kind of sugar.
Sugar in fruits?
Well, I like the sugar in fruits. I can do that at the level that I like to eat those.
Yes.
But that is very troubling for certain people. Hypoglycemics, cancer patients, people who can't have their immune system disabled.
Yes.
So for example, if somebody drinks a glass of orange juice, straight fresh orange juice, for one person they might digest it, it's no problem, no big deal. But for somebody who has cancer and has a long history of infections, that might be so much sugar so fast that it disables their immune system for 4 to 8 hours, which can put their life in danger in some cases.
Okay. And yesterday you talked about sea salt. It's very healthy to drink natural spring water and add a little bit of sea salt in
Sea salt, yes.
But can you take too much sea salt?
Yeah, just like anything, you can take too much sea salt. So you need to find out what that limit is. There's a certain response you see. If somebody has very dark circles under their eyes, and they're very, very skinny, and they're very neurotic, and they're very nervous, and they're speaking very fast all the time, and they have very heavy mood swings, from very happy to very angry, or very happy to very depressed, that kind of stuff, that's salt deficiency.
Salt deficiency.
That's too little salt.
Okay.
They can't hold the water on their body. Now the other extreme is when somebody actually has puffiness, when their joints are swollen, everything's swollen, because they have too much salt. So you need to find out where that appropriate balance is for yourself.
Okay. One last question. How can you heal your guts? Because you say when your guts are healthy, your mind and your body is healthy. So what can we do to heal our guts? Okay,
well, there's a number of different things that have been discovered about gut health. One is water and salt.
Water and salt, yeah.
Yeah, now this whole thing about water and salt. When I'm talking about salt, I am not talking about Morton's iodized salt. I'm not talking about the salt that's a chemical that's used as a preservative in food, that's been a preservative in meat, that's used in dairy. It's a preservative in everything. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, just to make that really clear. What I'm talking about is sea salt.
Sea salt.
Yeah, I'm talking about natural sea salt. The basis of your intestinal health is water and salt.
Okay.
And water and sea salt. Your intestines, as Dr. Walker found out and Dr. Bernard Jensen also found out, run on salts. So that's another problem, is that when people get really low in salt, they really cannot digest any kind of dense food. So then they're against dense food, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Suddenly it's like, no, all dense food is bad. Only fruits and very, very easy to digest vegetables, that's the only thing, because they don't have enough salt in their intestines to actually create the fire to break down the more dense food. Okay, so that's the basis. Then the next step up from that would be probiotics and friendly bacteria. So most of us is not us, definitely this is true of our gut, is that our gut is actually consisting of layers and layers and layers of bacteria. And they should be friendly bacteria. But when we've been ill, they're usually unfriendly bacteria.
Yes.
And that's called a dysbiosis. The unfriendly bacteria dominate the gut environment. So we have to start bringing in the allies. It's like D-Day in Normandy. Like bring in the allies, bring in the friendly bacteria to help drive that dysbiosis out. Okay. And then you have to have food that is appropriate for you, that feeds those bacteria and then also feeds an immune response. So you can actually immunologically develop some intelligence so you can heal over, for example, like colitis or, where there's been, a lot of irritation of the digestive tract. Now, having said that, there's a big story about herbs that are called demulcents, that are gelling agents.
Oh, never heard of it.
Chia seed.
Chia seed.
You put chia seed water, it has this gel comes out, right? Yes. That has very powerful effects on healing the digestive tract.
And why is that?
Because that jelly material is anti-inflammatory and cooling, and it immediately heals epithelial cells or skin cells.
It's rich of omega-3?
Yeah.
That's the reason.
And well, that's one reason, but it's not the only reason. It has to do with the gelling material itself. The gelling material itself is it's friendly to skin cells. Oh. Skin cells love that. Like aloe vera. Aloe vera is like that.
Okay, yes.
And aloe vera
also,
yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Yes. And there's a list of them. Blueberries have it, goji berries have it. So we might want to start looking at those things more. All of this is pretty well summarized in my friend Donna Gates's book, The Body Ecology Diet.
Okay.
Which is a great book on this subject, and a book I recommend on this subject.
Okay. David, we have to finish.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you next year here in Holland.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah, great questions.
Thank you for watching.
Have the best day ever.